可以连线了吗 ？Hello, can you hear us? See us?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello, guys.
The podium is all yours.
Okay, great. Thank you. It is really nice to see you, and I hope my presentation will give you some advice about Russia and how we communicate with each other and with the other world. To begin with, let me introduce myself. And of course, we have the technical problem. Okay, now, my name is Anna, and I came from Moscow, Russia. I work in the largest Russian independent branding agency, as it was told before. It is called Depot, and I'm also the president of Russian Branding Association. So if you want to know anything about Russian branding, don't hesitate to ask me today or later on. Just contact me any way possible. So some few words about the background and about my agency and why you should believe me practically. So my agency is number one according to different rankings of Russia, and not only Russia. We are operating globally. Since 2014, Depot joined the GLBA. GLBA is Global Local Branding Alliance. And we have the representative offices, practically all over the world. It is in the 7 countries. And also in China, we have the representative office. It is called Flameshan Huataya, if I pronounce it correctly. So it's not easy to travel nowadays, but we still have an opportunity to communicate and to sell abroad. Good brands are able to overcome limits and borders. And my today's speech is about brands, territories, and efficient marketing tools that can work not only in my country, but also globally. Let's go. What shall we do at the beginning of each project? When we speak about new brand or rebranding, so we all want to know who are our target groups, what are the consumers' mindset, who are the competitors, and why is the market and why is the consumer should believe into your product. Why? If you like to export your brand, you should know the country of your interest from inside and not from the outside. I'm pretty sure that most of you or some of you traveled to Russia before as a tourist, but I'm also pretty sure, but you don't know much about my country from inside, because in order to know the country from inside, you should be born there. But if we speak about brands and creating successful brands to the market, you should know the mindsets of the consumers. You should know what is wrong and what is not, and what is false. And I will give you the short introduction into my country in terms of commonly spread stereotypes. Let me entertain you a little bit. Have a look at this slide. We all have the basic knowledge about different countries. Like you see 6 countries on this slide. For instance, we all know Brazil, that it is famous for football players, or there is a joke that Americans run after hamburgers, or buffalo runs after Spanish people. Norwegians are fond of skiing. Dragons are fond of Japanese, and only in Russia, the main hero, not a man, but bear that drinks vodka. Of course, it's a kind of joke, but this joke is based on people's experiences and stereotypes, and sometimes false impressions that could be dramatically misleading when it comes about trade, because trust is crucial in branding. If the consumer doesn't trust your brand, your marketing strategy fails. So coming back to Russian stereotypes, of course, the first one is vodka. Russians drink a lot, and we all pronounce toasts like "na zdorovye." Na zdorovye means for your health. But for me, as a Russian, it's a little bit confusing. Because when I travel, my business partners invite me to the restaurant and say, well, you're Russian, drink some vodka. I say, oh, come on, I don't drink vodka. I prefer wine or some other beers. Well, the thing is that Russians drink a lot still, but speaking about consumption of alcohol, it is dropped significantly. You can see in this slide that, well, this, goes slightly down, down, and down. The second one, bears. Bears, well, some people really hope to meet bears in the street of Moscow or some other cities, but it's only for tourists, be sure. You can meet packaging with bear on it, but it doesn't refer to the Russian spirit at all. The bear could symbolize strength, but nothing else. Well, speaking about strength, power, or military force, well, when we speak about all this stuff, I understand where it comes from. Of course, the political context influences the economy and people mindsets or people thinking. But we are in Russia, we don't identify ourselves with military force at all. So I would skip this and put it as a stereotype, and it depends. Another one, Russians are never cold because there is a long, long winter, and everyone knows that Russia is famous for its winters, and it's really true. But in real life, in real life, we got used to central heating, and average temperature is about plus 25 degrees Celsius, unlike most of Europe, where people get used to wear layers of clothes while they're at home. So we are cold normally. But speaking about winter, Russian winter is famous around the globe. And although the majority of cities are located in a moderate zone, yes, it's true. We have a lot of snow during the winter. And you can see these slides, they're totally true. I put these slides because it's these photos were taken in Moscow several months ago during this winter. And so during this winter, Moscow hasn't seen so much snow since 1973. So it's really true. But, well, when they speak about creating brands, we should take it into considerations. Another one, Russians are gloomy, rude, and they never smile. You can see this picture from the, space, from the cosmonauts. Everyone is smiling, but not Russians. Well, this is partially true. Nobody smiles at strangers in the street, but if we feel good, we laugh and smile. And people here are very emotional, even if they don't display it in public. And speaking about emotions and brands and branding, please take into consideration this sixth stereotype that we are not that rude and gloomy, and we really can smile. So, what is really important to know while creating the brands for Russia? So all above mentioned help you to understand the mysterious Russian soul if you want to sell goods and services to Russians. And the one thing that is basically laid under all brands, or practically all brands, it is sharing and generosity, because sharing and generosity drives sales, and I will show you how. On every occasion, we love to organize parties with food, drinks, sometimes dancing and singing. So speaking about generosity, it is very typical of Russians. And so if some of you will come by one day, be ready to drink and eat a lot. And of course, it's very good for the food and drinks producers, because they can sell a lot, because Russians shop a lot. And this is another point. It is the long holidays. Holidays, it is the best time to sell. Can you imagine that this year there are 365 days in total? Well, it's not a secret, it's everywhere. But in Russia, we do have this year 243 working days, and we have 122 holidays and day off. It is 1/3 of the year, and this is a good reason for consumers to not only to buy, but to consume food and drinks with our families and friends, and of course, purchase a lot. And speaking about big companies, big multinational companies, what do they do for this? Limited edition is a great marketing tool for these periods, and big multinational companies like Nestle or Unilever, by the way, Unilever is a king of limited edition, so they stimulate the sales on local market by creating festive packaging for the main products of their portfolio. So they invest a lot in the limited edition packaging and keep the loyalty of customers all over the year. I would like to give you the short trip through our holidays, like New Year celebration, for instance. And here, as I mentioned, Unilever is a king of limited edition pack for the local market, but also Nestle. Nestle produces, and we create, this is, by the way, the packaging created by Depot, and we create the collections of different packaging, festive packaging, we call them. And for the Unilever, for instance, we create the collections of mugs or tin boxes, so that people can purchase several, even if they don't want to consume them directly. What is the secret behind? The secret behind is collection, because collection stimulates the sales and creates the loyalty and brand addiction. This is another one. Let's go further. Spring holidays is even more generous than winter, because we have Men's Day, Women's Day, Easter, we have the beginning of Dacha, and this is the picnic shopping. So tea, confectionery, dairy, so everything, even water, they create a lot of, like communication. And this, for instance, enjoy the holidays communication, because between the lines, there is a message that the brand, it is called Borjomi mineral water, it is the best hangover remedy. So this is another limited edition for Nestle. For Easter, this is Lipton for summertime. And then, just to sum up the year, this is the autumn and school time. And there are some packaging for kids that go to school. So you see how many tools, this limited edition packaging are on the market, and all of this is purchased, and all of these a good marketing tool to have the loyalty of the consumer, so they are not bored of the same packaging. So during the whole year they have something new on the shelf on the market. So how to engage the consumer on the highly competitive market like tea, confectionery, or dairy? Dairy, it is highly competitive market, and how to keep the loyalty or launch the new brand on the oversaturated market? How to touch the consumers' hearts and to force them to buy your product and not the competitors? I would like to show you the case study and to tell you the story. It is the brand case of the dairy Milgret. Milgret, it is the name. You can see the Russian letters under the logo, under the M logo. It is called Milgret. There is no special connotation. It is something like milk city or milk village, something like this. And the story begins at 2019. The brand was created long ago, more than 10 years, and has been changed till 2019. And why? Milk products hold more than 22% on the local FMCG market, but dairy branding has stuck in recent years. Competition is very, very high, and it's hard to stand out on the shelf. So with the Milgret, it was the same situation. The sales decreased and high competition. All this stimulated that the rebranding was needed. Actually, we created several concepts, starting from the evolutionary approach that is on the left corner of the slide, because the brand has a long story. Remember, the brand was created 10 years ago, or at this moment it was even more, like 12 years, 12 years ago. And there was another approach with the like modern production capacities on the right-hand corner, but there were several workshops to define the proper way, and the right decision was found. Finally, we decided to position Milgrad as the first trademark which brings happiness. The team came up with the idea how the product can touch the consumer's heart. We created something really cute and kind, and that was a cat. At the middle of the slide, you can see how we tried to create the cat, the proper brand hero. And speaking about the logo type, speaking about the brand itself. So the brand logo is also remarkable, where M stands for milk, and Milgret at the same time. Milgret is a brand name, and it looks like a cat muzzle. A letter M and cats are known fixtures in branding, of course, but we have the successful decision in distinctiveness by their combination, color, and meaning. Here you can see the draft packaging designs. We were looking for a color code for the range, but at the but finally we decided to stick to the blue as the main color of the brand and the main color of the logotype. So the blue cat travels across the packaging of different dairy products of different categories, and the illustration starts from one side of the packaging and continues on the other. So it is possible to interact with the brand straight from a supermarket shelf layout. So you can see how it is tricky. Why it is tricky? Because when people would like to see the whole cat on their fridge, for instance, they need to buy not only one milk packaging, but they need to buy at least 3. So that was also a trick, a good trick for their marketing and to stimulate the sales. So we started our work by redesigning the main products in the dairy category, but we have tailored the style to the whole range of Milgret. So you can find the blue cat on the sour cream, cottage cheese, custard dessert, and other categories. You can have a look at the whole range on this slide. Why is that? Why is ketchup? It's not about ketchup. It is about UI and UX. And why I used this slide in my presentation, because despite of the fact that Milgret and dairy products in Russia are mostly sold on the traditional retail like supermarket, digital presence is a must attribute of the brand efficiency today. Today we all buy not the product itself, but the story or experience behind it. And Speaking about the brand, speaking about Milgrad, we decided to establish the brand loyalty by promoting the brand in social media using user-generated content. For each product, service or company, combination of digital and physical in brand communication helps to create, like the holistic approach, like 360 degrees touch points of the brand with the consumer. So our aim was to engage consumers, let them create their own content, play with the packaging. Emotional involvement helps to create loyalty, and Milgrad gets along well enough in digital. It has an account in Instagram, and not only Instagram, and other social media as well. People send the hundreds of pictures where they interact with the packaging in the store or at home. And speaking about audience, we usually keep in mind the final consumers. But for the brand that is on sale in the traditional channel, as I said, in Russia, we still buy the products in the traditional retail channel like supermarkets. It is crucial and it is very important to understand who are the retail buyers, because the retail buyers are the primary target sometimes and not the final consumers who purchase the product. So it is the retailer who decides whether the new product has a chance to be sold or not. Normally, we call this communication B2B, but this is not really business-to-business solution. We call it H2H, human to human. So for the Milgrad, we created the highly emotional brand with a nice picture with this blue cat, and managers in some retail stores liked to play with the package, and they increased the number of facings free of charge. Can you imagine that? So you can see the shelf, and this merchandising was made by the category managers of some retail stores. The message I would like to deliver to you, that brands that are based on positive emotions can cross the borders. With the help of internet and social media, our cat became very popular all over the world. It traveled via social media to Taiwan, China, Japan, and other countries, and it became a real superstar in Japanese Twitter, in international Behance, Russian TikTok, and even turned into meme in 9gag.com and Peekaboo just in several days after release. And we still receive gifts from Japanese cat fans. And not only gifts, a lot of trade requests came to the producer of Milgrad, and now they are close to start the international sales campaign. So in very short time, this is, by the way, so the story about Japan and the gifts and the, celebration, small crafted things that one lady from the Japan did for the brand. Yeah, coming back to the results, in a very short time, and practically it was less than a year, we got more than 350 million interactions in mass media, and our client doubled the sales. I will just scroll the results, and for the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, VK, which is the Russian social media, TikTok, and so on. So as I said, they received the request to sell the products in a lot of countries, and they produced 57 new SKUs. More than 3% growth in desert category. You can see the figures by yourself, and the turnover, they doubled it in less than 1 year. So I want to sum up my presentation with Euromonitor observation. They say that it doesn't matter who we are by nationality and where we live. We want to make our world better, either for our own sake or for humanity. We want new ways to make life both convenient and safe inside and outside. We are balancing our time creatively. So be creative, look at your product and your brand from a different angle, and do not forget that positive emotion is able to reach the heart and soul of people and establish loyalty and trust. Creativity matters, and today it is a huge part of national economy that drives the progress. Thank you. This is my QR code and all my contacts, so I will be happy to answer your questions or just make friends and answer your questions about Russia and branding. Thank you.